Hi everybody, this is Eric with Phone Scoop, and I wanted to give you a quick video tour of the LG Nexus 5X. Nexus phones are, of course, Google's premier devices for the Android operating system, and as such, the 5X ships with Android 6.0 Marshmallow, which is the latest version of Android, and a few leading-edge technologies such as a fingerprint sensor for taking advantage of the latest things that are available in Marshmallow. The handset itself is rather nondescript, has a somewhat plain design as previous Nexus handsets have. The 5X is more of a successor to the 2013 Nexus 5 than it is to the 2014 Nexus 6. Has a 5.2-inch screen, which you can see looks very nice. A single speaker up here, phone speaker down there. And we have a user-facing camera here, which captures 5-megapixel images. Giving a spin around the hardware, you can see we've got a two-tone design. The back happens to be what Google calls quartz. You can see the fingerprint sensor here, the 12-megapixel camera there, dual LED flash, as well as laser-assisted focusing module. Of course, we've got the Nexus branding and LG's branding. Notably, the Nexus 5X ships with a USB Type-C port. The Type-C connector is reversible, which means the plug can go in either way. It also means there are not a lot of accessories available for the 5X yet, as the Type-C connector is not compatible with the micro USB cables that are common to most every other phone available in the market. So that's a drawback, but also a good thing. Type-C is fast and it works in both directions, so this phone can send power to another phone and vice versa. But of course, the cables are rare and rather pricey. On the right side of the phone, we've got volume toggle here and the screen lock button there. The buttons have decent travel and feedback, and I'm reasonably pleased with the hardware. It's decent quality. It's not the best quality. There's more plastic than I care to see, especially around the frame. I was hoping LG would have given the phone a metal edge rather than a plastic one. The soft touch material of the rear polycarbonate is pretty nice though. I like that. Of course, with Nexus phones, it's not so much about the hardware as it is the software, and Marshmallow is a tasty treat indeed. It has several unique features that make it a bit more powerful than the outgoing Android 5.1 Lollipop platform. Android 6.0 Marshmallow uses a pretty straightforward home screen setup. We have the main home screen here with the Google Now page over here, and you can add other screens as you go to accommodate more apps, widgets, and shortcuts. Several folders are preloaded here on the home screen, but of course you can get rid of all of this and put whatever you want on there. The app drawer has been revised a little bit. You can see we've got 4 suggested apps at the top. Google apparently changes these suggestions throughout the day depending on what you tend to use as you go along. And the app drawer is now laid up vertically, so you can scroll up and down in one fluid motion rather than sideways from screen to screen, which is how the menu worked on the older operating system. And the settings appear to be unchanged compared to Android 5.0. We've got this white background with green icons, and this is all scrolling up and down. And the notification shade also works just as it does on Lollipop devices. So no big changes there in terms of what Marshmallow does. So the basic navigation and controls are the same, which I'm sure some will appreciate and some will say, hey, why didn't you change this? But there it is. That's the basics of navigating the home screens. One app that suffers a bit on the 5X is the camera. It's a tad slow. This phone has a Snapdragon 808 processor with 6 cores, and if there's any app on the entire phone that runs a little doggedly, it's the camera. We've got some basic shooting modes here, as well as a few minor settings, and just a basic shutter button there. We've got some toggles here for controlling the flash and HDR and the timer and such. And we can always switch to the user-facing camera. It's okay. It's as far as camera apps go. I wish it were faster. That's about the biggest complaint I have. Otherwise, it's functional. Images, however, do look pretty good. The camera app may be a little slow and kludgy to use, but the images this phone produces are above average, at least a little bit above average. The big hallmark feature of Android 6.0 Marshmallow is called Google Now on Tap. How this works is a long press of the home button takes a screenshot, sends the screenshot to Google, which reads it, determines what's on that screen, and sends you back results based on what's there. So here I have an email about Fall Out Boy performing at the Beacon Theater in New York City. If I press and hold the button, it'll do its thing. And so what is it showing me? It's showing me results for Fall Out Boy. So what a Google search would return, their YouTube videos, any news about the band, and images about the band. Similar details for the Beacon Theater, but this also includes navigation details, a phone call button, as well as access to their website and even Street View in Google Maps. And we've got another result here for Sarah Bareilles. I guess her name was on that screen too, as well as a suggestion for creating the event in Google Calendar. This is typical results for what you're going to get with Google Now on Tap. It's best used in examples such as this, where I have an email that has locations, dates, events, things like that. So email, your text messaging, your Facebook Messenger, anywhere you're discussing plans with people that have names of restaurants or other locations involved, Google will do a good job with Now on Tap to deliver some sort of results. If I try the same thing on the home screen, you're going to see that it says nothing on tap. There's nothing going on in the screen. Why are you asking me these questions? It says right here, try it with places, people, movies, and more. So that's a quick rundown of how Now on Tap works and what it can do. So that's a quick look at the Google Nexus 5X, which is available directly from Google online for $379 for the 16 gigabyte version, or $429 for the 32 gigabyte version. There is no 64 or 128 gigabyte version. This phone does not support memory cards either, so you're going to be stuck with either 16 or 32 gigs. So there it is, a look at the Nexus 5X, which is sold unlocked and available directly from google.com.